on January 3rd, 2026. In fact, New Year idea, afisesi a na yesha asem so ensem we besisi de enye ensem kuma ensem atele akakraka ansem oboshi just besisi 2026. You see 2026 ma on the 3rd day of 2026 ana yenya ntie say Donald Trump the current American president wa invade Venezuela. Now I extracted the current Venezuelan president, I friend Nicolas Maduro, and then a wife, I friend Flores. Ebusian ha Island TV plan. Send your first time watch the bread out here, no. Obe like a video, no subscribe it. Na watch share na front so any be share. MRF say odo notification button so ebe to on. Send be ya all our subsequent videos and so ubenya bi ahwe ede amaye. Donald Trump one the US Army, the military base, no, omo invade Venezuela and omo extract the Venezuelan president. Na Venezuela one president ye friend Nicolas Maduro. Na oye authoritarian president. In fact, we will go back to history. Kwanya obey that authoritarian. In fact, Africa we have seen such of government say ono de ono ade ne ho so oye kama min kebi je say oka obi nkebi oka say da no ada sorry no sorry that kind of government ana Nicolas Maduro na say all run na in 2020 ana Donald Trump indicted no ansakra na oba be free abano so omo US omo to omo abano around November and sana Ghana to December. Around that time, ansana ombeto abana ana Donald Trump indicted no na indictment a wode ebo no say abrantie Nicolas Maduro, he happens to be the president of Venezuela no. Ne ho bon enubone ensemu eni edwadiemu na osan corrupt. Enti so corrupt dia na exercise ne man so US ana ode enubone no eba and at the end of the day so odi enubone eba me krom dia it is my youth emom na onom ebe safa omo na ebe the least bearers and I said the large bearers giving eburo no a wode ba no youth no na inteki edi Donald Trump ye na adwene say enne sa de a obeteki action against Nicolas Maduro. Na sabobeka ya be 2 or a month ago and Donald Trump bomb ship na in route to America from Venezuela with the intel say omo de drug ko America. Enti one of the drug cartels are Venezuela and an air transport drugs to American soil. Now Donald Trump say ehene ne ha me ma onfa enubone mama saase so ene ye hono mo a bodana no wono mo ana boom oja bomb to Venezuela ship wa na onu say air transport narcotics into US soil. Na anso hono mo a sa indictment yi hono mo chese konkon ho. Na January 3rd just yesi afi mu a di 1 2 3 hono mo a na US one military base which is led by the intel of the president Donald Trump and omo extract Maduro Nicolas Maduro one and wife and just omo extract omo and omo extract no some of the citizens are Venezuela no omo ni age if say so ja aban there and I say aban on your show kete say yes obi ampe well at the end of the day ubenya manfo so ana support no enti there were folks now omo ni age say abe extract Maduro and there were other factions now omo there omo bonyu so say Donald Trump utu krom yeti okrom who bondo so obeba now obe extract yen president enti anya de ana omo ebo adwo ene the police department Venezuela no I order for arrest of obiano or support the invasion of US Army into one capital city, Caracas, Venezuela. Say, why be whom say, or supported Donald Trump, Adia or Yen Biano, Yabecho, Edward Tuna, Hadia, opening home. Apparently, Donald Trump, an operation in the or strategy, near now open. And what can I say? Well, says there is no president here, or Venezuela. So, in the interim, no one be now I be share Nicolas Maduro anemu. Na yade Maduro ekodru US Manhattan no. Dien kwadu na yade abono. Yese enubone edwadie oton enubone na wosan corrupt chese ketasese ene proye aye ni se twom. Na yade kwa gina ase ni bia the Federal Court of Manhattan no. Ane yebu anse krache kwadu yade abonie uni hunfo anase uni hunfo Maduro se me. Ne mo kan kora meni hu asembia meni hunfo de meni hunfo chena na saa asemi ebaye ene ewiase afana amadodo ni nyina obi a kaseti ase oh ade a US for aye ne de omo anya ade na obi tini kuro mu a ne president hwe kuro nso utimi ko invade start president adan a waye bibi de etia o there are international bodies here are responsible for such operations enti one kasa no because we super power amongst global countries intino untimi nje ne wope so we say then other countries also yes super power omo some smaller countries within their territory almost betimi invade these countries na so mo invade US ya wo no we say we a large voice within the global community no untimi make sense because one kasa no already why e be dada so eti eba ya ne China mu nyina o makasa etia Singapore o makasa etia UN akasa etia na me amekro o makonkron Ghana nso ya akasa etia ene manfo ebo foreign minister echi okudjato ablakwase untina ba bi o te Ghana Ghana US military base na ewo hia obi no edi na kokoti isemu a okoka bi ekokonde bi ene eba ya ne there have been several comments ebi nu kra say bone regardless of say superpower bi and a territory and say whatsoever edi Nicolas Maduro ono de o se kwadu a ye de abono no emu bia no no a no kre enti Donald Trump ensan nya no na onko back to ne country na onko run na obebusa say why is Trump hunting this guy? Is it just about drug trafficking and I say narco terrorism enuntina Trump actually na well there is more to the story obi bekana sem say the devil is in the detail globally open omanya ewo oil pa Venezuela in fact estimates and as a valuation enyana say over 300 billion barrels of oil and this quantifier sika no kra mintimi mo enye sika kuma because a barrel of oil no is around somewhere $50 plus and imagine say obi wo 300 billion worth of oil and enye oil kuma ebetimi afele Ghana nyina ama Ghana yensa ase no kra besa I just say pe o man foforo na afele the remaining barrels na ewo so and say cost story na nkasa mu a well, it is not just about the drug trafficking. And I said the drug cartel, Donald Trump, as you said, Maduro, Nicolas, actually, it is a little bit of the oil, Nicolas Maduro, the president for Venezuela, no, almost a possessor. In fact, audio be a island media. Island TV Plus happy and obenya sa audio no yenti audio no na ebra invasion no esi ye Donald Trump say historically Venezuela for area oil enti also obi akai say property we on man na ye US for no dia na Venezuela ebeje ye enti sesi ano de say je on property back yenti audio no na sesi na afi let's go back to the history. What is the history behind this particular attack? And
the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back.
Anyway, Donald J. Trump. Ne audio ana chese ene nam social ene media ene yoko X ya obenya bi etie ho. Na what is the history behind the oil production ewo Venezuela? In fact, globally, medical can say Venezuela and holding the largest barrel of oil. Oil you know one bibia aeroplane, cars. So you can't take that from them. Say country or no so much oil. Now in the 1980s, so pre 1998, now US company, a friend Exxon, now oil exploration. In fact, now we to oil Venezuela. Now fa about 80% of all the oil na produce. And the emphasis one it is repatriated back to the US. And the Venezuela for Ankasa natives, they were just getting like 20%. At the Ghana. Yeah, good. Na no free kuro mu aba no. Enti yemfa we nya adusua. Ono free kuro mu aba se okura ho akade no. Ono fa 80% kwa na ye afa 20%. Na be de onwa na ye. Yetu ehia sika de akyekere oman no. Enti omu se da bi ade na semwa. So fast forward in 1998, president ya owoso a na ye frɛ no Hugo Chavez. Say da bi ade no de emwa ye. Enti mefa ekwan bi so na masesa sa structure na say na be ya yen wa ye Venezuela for na ebenya much of the oil revenue coming into our country. Enti ono no ye elected no democratically. So say Kerima Minkabi say na Ghana ha ye no emfie na nso a na party A representative aba na party B representative aba na ye nyina ya to aba ti say ya to aba ne dia na kire say ni obewi no na ye de na si abanwa no so na wadi oman no so enisa na Hugo Chavez ne de no ekoye but oni so na asa akonwa no eso aba ne de say na say ebi no say oh third term for President Mahama no da bi third term say bia ni ba bia enti wono de ebra no wate so no ana wono a wode ofa kuntu na say ana osesa constitution no ana cha so obeya no authoritarian time ope ana ofiri so a enipa ope ana ode no ba be sha nan enti wo ya ne sa no ana che se ode sesa the structure na Exxon omo na the energy exploration company from US no omo etu oil na ewo Venezuela no ana che se oma profit ni largely the Venezuelan citizens na be omo dia na che se sa dia well ye na etu oil na mamo mo ni aka de ye na etu enti the number of barrels that they were producing no say already history they were producing about 300 million barrels but omuja ye na che se obi antu enti ye mo a mo human resource na mo ni betu e na che se so te ye eba around 600,000 levels or e na che se no wo mutu afei economy no crash ye no someone has to save it. So then Maria Machado ono around that time na Hugo Chavez was so no na George Bush sata ono na ye president of the United States na ofande sa Maria Machado no senka obetimi atu sa aban na authoritarian no through the fund na the US government no through George Bush edema Maria Machado but sa attempt no it did not succeed and the answer is still now the plan is so intact. Now in 2007 send we kaka ana Hugo Chavez or nationalize the oil sector Venezuela send hey all the foreign companies ni na mutua ye beja much of the oil no ha any say we will not continue to explore more oil am it mo am human resources emeye enti akoba asa na say oil production no eso ate someone has to make sure say sa production no ebeto aso na Nicolas Maduro he happens to be the VP of Hugo Chavez enti when if you no man no so ebe say on is authoritarian no a say ye nyina ye to aso na me na me di wachi ana wa free ho no mo a say system a di rule eno na me so me di akire o ana ono so edi akire na wono de odi enubone ene chese corruption ne eke ka ho nyina e de ewura na ban nim na eno na Donald Trump say ehene ne ha enya de amepene umamre fi say be di kan abo Maria Machado bi e de akire mo in 2005 afi etwa mu ya Maria Machado ewini the peace novel and I say the peace prize novel na owini ye no ana dedicated the man Donald Trump. Don't forget say through Maria Machado na omo person omo tu Hugo Chavez ya no authoritarian and free Venezuela aban mu se ne be ya omo betumi abedi Venezuela so na onomo oyela through Exxon produce repatriate back to the US no say timiaka but answer CD. So Mario Machado is still in the line. Now Mario Machado ewini peace novel prize no and dedicate ma Donald Trump everyone mo ana afi bombings sha ase enti bombs ni mu no ana kire say 2026 year ye wura mu ya January 3rd Donald Trump edekwa extract one US military base no edekwa extract Nicolas Maduro one ne ho kani na ubegusa say why sesi a oil no ehwo abehia in fact previously na Venezuela supply Russia and China oils no market the US. Interestingly, there were other countries who are not supply oil free because they have so much oil to offer to other countries. Now US be said there be the global superpower as a nation, it is diminishing. Already there is breaks. Forming person also creating one currency. The usage of the US dollars. MRM said the US dollars is the currency you use when you want to trade oil. And this oil no large chunk if you almost are there, then the US dollar becomes worthless. And the initiative is just an attempt to own the oil na previously and after historically na US through Exxon. Na se obetias ye the oil like I said is traded in US dollars petrol. And the every US enya more oil no, then the demand for the US dollars no increases. And I'm going to start asking questions. Say US dollar no started saying where will our currency stand? Ghana cedis no ana ebegina. We are saying say say Ghana a currency no say do and all of that. We are attributing the success to Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana. That is fine, but I'm imagining say US finally is able to take control over the oil Venezuela and looking at how things are going, it is likely that would happen. Because according to Donald Trump, or say he will fund the oil companies the US, he will fund them with billions of dollars. So now be on to the oil currently Venezuela no. Now they are back to the US, then they become global superpower. Of course, according to Donald Trump, you cannot take the facts from this particular case. He also wants to liberate the people of Venezuela because there is some rumor. So, send no call within Venezuela no, and someone has to rescue them. And Donald Trump wa or den ho agimi di agimi de we dan ya ne waka no obeye. In fact, ono oka sem a he doesn't back off. Oka obeye. Enti say Nansen what follow case and as issue a poppy up on Venezuela na saying history no enyina etie. The dollar is the most traded currency globally. Na Donald Trump empese the dollar ebe lose near in economics friend hegemony. So dollar no na ho ode ekura no. They don't want to lose it. South superpowers now they want to keep it no. They still want to keep it. And how do they do that? And it is through the control of oil. In fact, oil the area more be. Now no, and nam so any other reasons to say drug trafficking, corruption. Donald Trump any US military base no extracted Nicolas Maduro and they aba US say omobedi nasem. Na all the proceedings here ebe free court na ba bia Island TV Plus. Ye de be mamu. Send here what subscribe channel no now have video no. Don't forget say all the notification button so beto on. So that be all our subsequent videos. Obenya na wa hwe na oni afoforo nso ahye.